Good afternoon, everyone. I'm opening the past paper that was supposed to be completed for homework. I'll actually start with the paper one first. So it was one paper one with about 4 different paper twos. Let's correct the GCE May-June 2008 paper one first. I'll bring up the paper in my screen in a second, so you all don't have to use your paper that was sent. Now today's class is the last class for the term. So you all will have approximately 2 months, May, June, on your own to do your own independent studies, or if you wish to enroll in our May classes, we are basically going to just continue with past papers. It's 5 classes and it starts this week. HSB in particular is on a Friday. Okay, so this is the paper here. Let's go through it together. Everyone received this past paper and went through it on their own. All right, so basically I'll be writing the answers in the side. Right. Anyone from the evening class will be coming, well, sign up for the May classes. All right, so basically from today, you will be on your own. I already emailed the answers to the paper one, the booklet that you all purchased. Did you all receive that email? All right, so that will be your guide. So when you are correcting and practicing the paper ones, those are the answers. Well, there's always a group chat there in place in case anyone needs, help or clarification on any answer or question. So the group will remain until exams are over. The exams will be in July, and it will be held in your centers. So it's not to be done at your home. All right, just to clarify that. So those centers that you all will be assigned to, they will have computers and whatnot, or maybe you might have to work with a laptop, I'm not sure. But according to the Ministry of Education, they sent out a notice, and also there was a video meeting from CXC explaining how the online exams will be. It's basically the same thing I showed you all with the demo test that we did. If for some reason the internet cuts off or there's some kind of problem with the internet connection, you can still do the exam. So if it have no internet at all at your center, you will have to do it on paper. And the person who is supervising you will have to upload that on the CXC's website. All right? All right, so let's start. Number one, when fuel burns in the engine of a car, energy is released. All right, so making sure this is the right paper. Which process that occurs in living organisms is most similar to this? So if you're burning fuel and you're releasing energy, that's similar to respiration. D. What do all viruses and bacteria have in common? Now, they don't have a nucleus for sure, so that's out. Only the virus could exist as a chemical and later infect a host. Not all of them are parasites. They are good bacteria. So both of them actually contain nucleic acid, DNA, which is basically DNA or RNA, which is just located in the cytoplasm. So number 2 is C. You all could hear me, right? Number 3 now. Which statement about osmosis is true? Osmosis deals with water. So it's movement of water from a dilute, which is a high concentration of water, to a concentrated solution, which is a low concentration of water. 3 is C. Number 4. The diagram shows 4 types of organisms, which is the vector for malaria. So malaria is spread by a mosquito. So we're looking for a mosquito here. That's A. Number 5, the arrow represents chemicals entering and leaving the leaf during photosynthesis. What is chemical X? X is entering. So the gas that has to enter the leaf would be carbon dioxide, B. 6. Some of you are quiet, so I don't know if you all could use the chat and state your answer as we go along. Huh? Number 6. The diagram shows a carbon cycle. Which arrow represents processes that can cause the carbon dioxide content of the air to increase? So animals respiring, decomposers respiring, fossil fuel is burning, so that releasing, plants are respiring. So 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. 5, 3. So D is the answer. Number 7. The table shows the results of tests carried out on a food sample. What does the food sample contain? Urea is for protein, that's positive. Iodine is for starch, positive. So the food contains only protein and starch. That's D. Once you see negative test, that means the food is not present. Number 8. A baby fed on cow's milk should also be given orange juice and cod liver oil to provide sufficient. All right, so cow's milk will contain calcium. Orange juice will contain vitamin C. Okay, so the baby should be given vitamin C. What does cod liver oil contain? Which food group? Is it a vitamin? Is it iron? What answer you all have? So it's vitamin C and vitamin D, yeah. Number 9. So okay, 9. Why should iron be included in the diet of a pregnant woman? So iron helps the formation of red blood cells. Iron is hemoglobin, which is found in red blood cells. 10. The diagram shows an experiment to investigate the action of salivary amylase. The contents of the tube were tested with iodine solution after 1 hour. So amylase, and then it tested with iodine. So starch is present here. Okay, so starch, we have glucose, we have starch, we have starch. They boil the saliva, so that denaturing the enzyme 1 time. All right. The contents of which tubes will show a brown color as a result of the test? Now, a brown color will suggest that starch is not present. All right. So this will have a blue-black color. The contents of which tube will show a brown color. Which one you all had for this? Definitely this test tube is an answer 4. If you boil this saliva, you're boiling the amylase, and you will be destroying the enzyme, so it cannot break down starch into glucose. And this one has water in it, so no amylase to break down starch into glucose. Okay, I see what this question is. This question has a lot of thinking. Right, so you're trying to pick a test tube that when you put iodine, it will not turn blue-black, it will actually turn brown. So if it's brown, that means starch is not present. All right? So the only option that I am seeing with 4 is 3. So 3 and 4 is the answer there. You all had that? But this question is the opposite. They want to see now water. So this one has starch, this will turn blue-black. This one, if you boil the saliva, amylase will not be able to break down starch into glucose. So starch present here, this will turn blue-black. This one has glucose. Starch, iodine don't react with glucose. This one has saliva, and amylase will break down the starch into glucose. Well, amylase breaks down starch into maltose first, which does not react with iodine either. So the answer here will be 1 and 2. A. That one is a lot of thinking there. Number 11. So we have a villus here, which arrow shows the site of absorption for the named substances. So the center is the lacteal. Amino acids is not taken in there. Fatty acids and glycerol is not taken into the blood capillary. Glucose is not taken into the lacteal. So that leaves us with B. Number 12. The diagram shows section through the left side of the heart. In which diagram are the valves shown as they were doing the pumping of blood out of the heart by contraction of the ventricle? Okay, so we're looking for the ventricle, which is below. And we're looking at the valves in particular. Now, when the ventricle contracts, it has to push blood. Now, we have the left ventricle, right? It has to push blood into the aorta. So therefore, the valve in the aorta will open. This is called the aortic valve. Whereas the valve at the left, between the left atrium and left ventricle will close shut. That is to prevent the backflow of blood. So I'm seeing it open here, close, open, open. This one is the answer, B. Number 13. You could stop and ask questions if you want me to go through a question you don't understand. Right, so this one shows the blood supply of the liver now. So here we have the liver connected to the ileum. This vein is called the hepatic portal vein. It carries glucose, amino acids, vitamins, minerals to the liver. From the liver, so aorta to the liver, aorta deals with the left hand side. Aorta is the largest artery, so it's connected to a artery, which brings oxygenated blood there. Number 3, if it's going towards the vena cava, that's a vein. So it have to be hepatic vein. So C. Number 14. The table shows the composition of blood as it leaves some organs of the body. Which row in the table represents blood leaving the liver? All right, so carbon dioxide, oxygen, urea. So urea will be high when it leaves the liver because the liver is what produces urea. However, if blood leaves the liver, the oxygen will be low because blood leaving an organ is basically deoxygenated blood. Blood entering an organ is oxygenated blood. So here, the answer is C. What changes cause inspiration, breathing in to take place? Diaphragm will contract and flatten. Volume of air will increase. When volume increases, pressure decreases. So B. 16. Now the GC questions are the ones that really allow you to think about the topic and make you understand the topic thoroughly. CSEC questions tend to be a little more straightforward, but you have to look out for the ones that have like what is a false statement, what is not true. Those kind of things in opposites can be very confusing and tricky, especially for a multiple choice. Number 16. A student breathes normally, then takes the deepest possible breath in, and then breathes out as much as possible before resuming normal breathing. The graph shows the volume of air breathed into and out of the lungs of the student. What is the vital capacity of the lungs? The vital capacity is the largest breath one can achieve. So the highest, the most amount of air in the lung is 6. Well, I'm saying the highest option here is 5. D. Okay, so why they have 5 is because they minus 6 from 1, because this would have been exhaled and this would have been inhaled. Number 17. What is mainly responsible for the hardness of bone matrix? Right, so the hardness is due to collagen fibers. B. Number 18. Between which bones is there a ball and socket joint? So if you're looking at the shoulder region, that would be the scapula and the humerus. So A is the answer here. That's the shoulder, the ball and socket by the shoulder here. 19. What cannot pass from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule in the kidney of a healthy person? Protein. Protein is large. All right, and that's not supposed to be filtered nor lost from the body. 20. Now, although glucose is passed through, glucose is still reabsorbed. Which graph shows the blood sugar level in a diabetic who received an insulin injection? All right, so blood sugar is high here. Blood sugar is climbing here. Blood sugar is high and then it dropped. Now, when insulin converts glucose into glycogen, so that will be stored in the liver. So the answer is C. 21. What makes the skin sensitive to temperature changes? Receptor cells, because it receives stimulus, which is temperature as a stimulus. 22. A student is looking at a lorry coming towards him. What changes occur in the eye as the lorry gets closer? So this came in a midterm exam. So close objects, the lens will become thicker. How does the lens become thicker? Ciliary muscle contracts, tension and suspensory ligament decrease. A. Sometimes, I think I went through accommodation and pupil reflex enough times. 23. This is also a repeat, so X, W, Z, and Y. A. 24. Which correctly shows what happens during drug dependence? Increases, increases, increases. So all of them is supposed to be increased. 25. The diagram shows variations in the thickness of the lining of the uterus during the menstrual cycle. At which point does menstruation start? So normally it's at the start of the cycle, so it's day 1 to 5, so that's A. 26. What is passed through the placenta from the mother to the fetus? Now these are large things that cannot pass through, so the only answer here is B. 27. A contraceptive pill contains the hormones progesterone and estrogen. How does this pill prevent conception? Another repeat. So basically, it prevents the release of eggs. It prevents ovulation. So C. 28. Why is coronary heart disease described as a degenerative disease? It becomes worse with time because as you get older, your artery walls become hard. Degenerate means the body weakens. 29. What is caused by a diet low in vitamin D? Not D here. Calcium ions are not absorbed from the gut. Blood clots more slowly. No. Children develop sickle cell anemia. Vitamin D is important for what? B. Calcium ions. What answer you all had for 29? Any chat getting quiet? Okay, so I'm actually looking for this one because the vitamins are so easy to mix up. What I do know, wounds heal more slowly. That is for vitamin C. Children develop sickle cell anemia. That is iron. Blood clots more slowly. That is vitamin. That's calcium and vitamin K. Right? So I'm left with B. So I'm doing the process of elimination. I'm also looking for this one, just to make sure it's correct. All right, so yes, the answer is B. I just had to verify that one. 30. I think I have a table that I want to share with you all without vitamins, yes? I will send this to you all. Vitamins. Results of deficiency here. Sources where you get the vitamins from. What is the use in the body? So D, proper utilization of calcium and phosphorus for building bones and teeth. You know, a lot of them will have like 1 point. C, for healthy skin and gums, help cuts and source the heat. So that's why it couldn't be vitamins, that option. which helps to heal the wounds. Oh, you all got this already? The same exact thing? All right, I'll look for a more elaborated one because it have, like, for, you know, those multiple choice like this, I feel like we should have a broader table. All right, 30. Look out for that table and I'll send it on the group chat. How are carriers of typhoid best identified? Well, typhoid, it could take the urine or the feces. So let's see. Examine the urine for the presence of bacteria. Feces. Feces is the best one. You take a sample, look at it under a microscope to see if there's bacteria. D. 31. The diagram shows a house in a tropical region. Which diseases are the people living in this house most at risk? So you have a shallow well, you have a latrine here, fly infested. So here we'll have mosquitoes, here we'll have flies. So gastro could spread here, malaria could spread here, typhoid, cholera could spread here. So the best answer would have been D. 32. Which is a fungal infection? Ringworm. 33. A culture dish containing nutrient agar was inoculated with bacteria. Inoculate means to place bacteria in the jar. All they use is a kind of long needle-like apparatus to place the bacteria in it without them touching it. At the same time, 1 drop of substance X was placed on the plate as shown in diagram 1. What is substance X most likely to contain? So realize that it have no bacteria growing in this point. So whatever they placed would have killed the bacteria here. So out of all these options, antibiotics kills bacteria. A. 34. Which statement is true for bacillus? Okay, this is a type of bacteria, and I'm going to pronounce that word. It breeds inside filter feeding larvae and kills them. It is a fish. No, it's not a fish. It is a protozoan that causes a disease in humans. This sounds like it. It is used to kill malarial parasites in their host. So, you know, GCE has a little difference in their syllabus. So a question like this will not appear for CSEC type of exam, right? I'm going to see what type of organism is this. So they said it's a bacteria that lives in the soil. So we understand it's a bacteria that produces a toxin that is fatal to insects. All right, so if it is fatal to insects, right? So I didn't read anything with that type of bacteria causing disease on humans. So that is not, so it's not a protozoan, so that answer out. Again, I'm not going to you don't have to learn this one, but I just want to put an answer just in case. All right, so it lives inside insects. So yes, 34 is A. 35. The diagram shows stages in the life cycle of the mosquito. At which stages would insecticide be effective in controlling the number of mosquitoes? So insecticides are like chemicals that kills insects. So it could be an aerosol, it could be a powder. So most likely you would use to kill like stage 4 for sure. 3 is the eggs. So you wouldn't spray insecticide in water that's harmful. So the best answer here is 2 and 4. Normally the eggs are very protected. They have a kind of sac that even if you spray it, it won't eradicate it. It won't get to the core of the egg. 36. What helped to eliminate smallpox worldwide by vaccination? Well, smallpox was a global pandemic as well, long time ago, 100 years ago. Polio, smallpox, measles. The only one that remained was influenza. That keep on getting stronger and stronger. And well, now we're living with corona, so that could continue for a number of years. All right, until a vaccine is made. So to eliminate a disease, people have to be willing to be vaccinated. Each person receive boosters because every year the viruses get stronger and stronger, and so you have to take a stronger vaccine. Smallpox did not infect any other animals. So 1 and 2, let's see. 1 and 2 is the answer, D. 37. Okay, so what prevents the latrine from working properly? Screen to prevent flies from entering. Concrete base to stop entry of rats. Disinfectant to destroy microorganisms. So C, remember when I said you never pour disinfectant in a latrine, because if you kill the bacteria and fungus here, how the feces and urine going to break down? That's not good at all. 38. What is not used in sewage disposal? Chlorination, A. Although I did not see filtration in the setup. I saw screening, I saw sedimentation. So let me just go back to that note one more time. What answer you all had for that, by the way? You all had A? Now, according to my note, there was the picture that showed, right, so this picture, you have raw sewage, you have your screen, so that's screening. Clarifiers that come like the settlement stage. Disinfectant come like the chlorination phase. So I'm not seeing filtration here. Let me look at another one. Raw sewage, grit, primary settler, treated water to the river. So they had the they did put chlorine in it. All right, so I'm not seeing filtration. So you're seeing chlorination in these steps? So yes, so I'm sure that the answer is B. Filtration. Filtration is for water purification. 39. The disposal of household refuse involves burying the refuse. What does the burying prevent? Definitely flies laying because it's not exposed. B. Last one, 40. Events 1 to 4 occur when fertilizers such as nitrates and phosphates are washed into lakes from farmland. What is the order of these events? All right, so fertilizers contains minerals such as nitrates and phosphates. So let's do it step by step. This will cause eutrophication, which is number 1. That will cause light to cut off from aquatic plants which die. So 1, then 3. Plants decompose by bacteria. So if the plants die, they will be decomposed. And bacteria, when they're respiring, using up the oxygen in the water, and that will therefore kill the animals. So D, 40. Right, so here are the answers. Make sure, any question that you want me to repeat or explain, say now, please. You all good with this paper? All right, so let's go to the paper 2s. All right, so what year was it? Now feel free to view the day classes because we do other papers. So whatever paper today I did the January 2017. We have never done that together. So please, when it's posted, view it and write down the answers if you don't have it. Let's do the 2012. January 2012. We'll do that one first. All right, so I'm just pulling up my paper. Get your answers ready. Okay, so here's the paper. Jan 2012. All right. You all could see the answers. So they gave you the words here. You just had to fill in the blank. All right, so when water from the rivers and ocean evaporate, water vapor is formed. When water vapor cools, condensation occurs. Now, two agricultural activities that might cause water pollution are use of fertilizers, which we spoke about in the multiple choice there. Also, use of pesticides or insecticides or weedicides, any sides, those are chemical based and can harm the environment. Two waterborne diseases are cholera and typhoid. All right, so the bar graph, okay, let me see. I can't draw the bar graph, but you all know the gist. And I don't know why. I wish somebody had bring up in the meeting for the CXE why it is in the demo test. How somebody shows a plotter graph. Nobody asked that question, you know. Because they had a time frame where they allowed people to ask questions. Yeah. So I pray that that don't come. Okay, from the data provided in table 1, deduce the link between pollutants and cancer. All right, so let me scroll. Pollutant, cancer. So as in percent of pollutant increase, the percentage in cancers also increase. That's basically the link between them. And we want to include all the information. So it's during 1940 to 2009. That is the period. Anyone has anything different? All right, so one reason for the sharp increase. So a sharp increase during 2000 to 2009. Let me see how that rise. All right, so it could be that they had more factories and companies, so more radioactive compounds being released from factories and industries that has caused cancer. You can have a lot of answers for this. You can say a lot of persons, the percentage of cigarette smokers increased as the years go by. What answers you all had for this one? You're trying to talk about things that has caused cancer. Figure 2 is a diagram of an experiment being conducted. So this is basically you're taking a sample on the teeth, placing that on the petri dish, leaving it to grow, and bacteria grows in it. What is the purpose of the experiment in figure 2? You want to see if the mouth have bacteria. So if it is you mistakenly touch your face, touch your phone, didn't use glove when you were applying the swab on the Petri dish, you could actually apply bacteria to your skin directly, and that could actually lead into infection. All right. Everybody quiet so far. This was actually given to you all in class. I hope you all remember this question. A, B, and C. A, so from the lungs to the left atrium, pulmonary vein. B, well, that's left atrium. C, that's the ventricle. Right ventricle. Right, so this is our next repeat of, so this question was in a test. Tick. Elastic. Tin. Inelastic. No valve. Okay, I had to use their words. Absent. This one is present. So you have to talk about the entrance and exit of blood on the right hand side. So blood, let's start with entrance. So blood exits the heart by the pulmonary artery, right? Right. I already did this in class, so just reiterating it. So the valve that prevents backflow of blood on the left side is called the bicuspid also known as the mitral valve. What action of the heart causes the blood to be pushed under high pressure? So it's the contraction of the left ventricle muscles. Right. That's an answer there. All right, so you have to include the energy part as well. Since the cells need oxygen to respire, no energy will be produced, therefore, hence the reason he will lack energy. All right, so how can uncontrolled high blood pressure could affect the left-hand side? It can cause a blood vessel in the heart to rupture, which could lead to heart attack. Variation occurs in sexual disadvantage. It takes a longer time for an offspring to be produced. Can produce offsprings more quickly. Organism cannot adapt to an environment. They can die easily in asexual reproduction since they are a clone of the parent. They have the same genes. Two examples of asexual reproduction would be binary fission and vegetative propagation. Binary fission is occurring in microorganisms. Vegetative propagation is occurring in plants. So that's like grafting, cutting, tissue culture. I don't think we ever went deep into this, so I will send a video explaining this one. Yeah, fungus as well reproduce asexually by a process called budding and, well, vegetate. So this is just the big words for it, right? This is just the method. So this is for unicellular And these are for plants. Okay, so what is the relationship between estrogen and ovulation? Estrogen helps, well, prepares the uterus lining and allows luteinizing hormone to be released. What is the role of the lining of the uterus? This is where implantation of the embryo will occur. Which hormone causes the lining of the uterus to thicken? Progesterone. People just mix it up. Estrogen is build it, progesterone is maintain it and thicken it. Two ways that the new contraceptive which targets the lining of the uterus may prevent pregnancy. Alright, so researchers have developed a new contraceptive that targets the lining. Right, so two ways are it decreases progesterone, which prevents the lining from getting thick, so no embryo could be implanted. So it prevents implantation there. And it also decreases estrogen, which prevents the building of the uterus lining in the first place. Define the term homeostasis. The maintenance of the internal environment of the human body or the internal conditions. Feedback mechanisms are involved in the process of homeostasis. So we looked at osmoregulation as an example of homeostasis. Temperature regulation is also an example. Glucose level is also a type of homeostasis. So give an example. Define negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback mechanism is when the body's internal conditions are not balanced. Therefore, changes are made to ensure it returns to its normal state. So that's negative feedback. Example, let's just say osmoregulation. So if the body has too much water, you all know the steps that will take place to return it to a normal amount of water. Or if the body has too little water, you all know what will happen that will return it to try to conserve water. Define the term excretion. Excretion is the removal of metabolic waste. With the this is something we also did in class, so I'm just going through it quickly. Explain how the following parts of the renal tubule function when Trevor drinks a lot of water. So the Bowman's capsule is right here. So ultrafiltration will take place, or pressure filtration. Causing water to pass through the glomerulus and enter the Bowman's capsule as a filtrate. Right? Proximal now. Selective reabsorption will occur. Now, they're talking about mostly with water, relating it to the water, right? So, selective reabsorption occurs causing some water to enter the blood capillary. The loop of Henle reabsorption of water alone occurs. Now, since you drink a lot of water, ADH is not secreted, therefore most of the excess water will be carried to the next tubule, distal convoluted tubule. Urine is now formed, which contains excess water, excess salt, and urea, which is then collected into a duct, called a collecting duct. So just flow into that tubule. State the difference in the color of Trevor's urine when he drinks a lot of water from when he does not drink a lot of water. So when he drinks a lot of water, it will be clear to light yellow in color. When he does not drink a lot of water, it will be dark yellow in color. Right. Describe the part of carbon dioxide from the time it is produced by the cells, so that is respiration, in the body to the time it reaches the air sacs in the lung. All right, so carbon dioxide will diffuse, since it's a gas, it will diffuse out of the body cell into the blood plasma. It dissolves in the blood plasma as carbonate ions, which will be transported back to the heart The heart carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs by the pulmonary artery. That's the only artery that's carry deoxygenated blood. And when it reaches the lungs now, it will then diffuse. So carbon dioxide leaves the plasma and enters the alveolus. Which is the air sac. All right, next one. When we finish this, we'll go on a break. All right, so two other diseases besides degenerative and inherited. All right, so you could have physiological, and that is caused by lifestyle habits or not maintaining your health. Another disease you could also have is pathogenic, or what is called infectious, and that is caused by pathogens. So they say two other categories and factors that cause them. 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. Next one. Part 2. One substance that may trigger an asthma attack. Name one form of treatment. So dust could trigger asthma attack, and it can be treated by using an inhaler. B. Rajan is 5 years old and is about to enter primary school. His parents are informed that before he starts school, he must receive all his vaccinations. Explain to Rajan's parents why he needs to receive vaccination. Vaccination involves a weak or dead form of a pathogen which will cause a person's body to produce antibodies to fight it off or to destroy it and store as a memory if the pathogen was to ever infect a person. It's just 2 marks. The next one now. Rajan was born with some immunity from his mother. Describe the type of immunity that Rajan would have received from his mother and compare it with the type of immunity he would have received. Alright, so from the mother, that is passive, but that's natural, is the form of immunity from the mother, and artificial active is the form of immunity from the vaccine, right? So natural passive is antibodies from another source given to a person via breast milk or through the placenta during pregnancy. The other one, artificial active, is when your own body make antibodies to fight against a pathogen This is given as an injection, which is a man-made drug. Number 6, last one. 2 functions of the skeleton other than movement. So that's part A, part 1. Protection of vital organs and production of blood cells. Part 2. 2 types of joint and steady type of movement. So there we start with the hinge joint. There's movement in one plane, and then you have the ball and socket. Movement in different planes or 3 directions. B now. Alright, so the tendon at the end of the radius is cut. Tendons is whole muscle to bone. Alright, so tendons connect muscle to bone. Therefore, his muscles is not supported nor cannot contract nor relax to pull the lower arm upwards. Since the bone is not connected to the muscle, it can't pull on it. That's part 1. Eh? Next one, 2. A few days later, a doctor tells the driver that his bruised knee is painful because of the fluid loss from the knee joint. Explain how the loss of fluid from the knee joint would account for the pain. So that is the synovial fluid. It absorbs shock and also reduce friction and by helping to lubricate joints. Since the joints are dry, it will rub the bones will rub together, which causes friction, right? So this is the end of January 2012. After break, we are going on to June 2012. All right? So let's continue at 6:45. Another feature of the lung, well, the alveoli would be coiled with capillaries. So gaseous exchange occurs readily. Next question, C. In which year was the total number of smokers the highest? We did all of these already. I hope you all remember. Maybe I could skip it. Yeah. So we will just do the ones we need to finish. I don't think we did this one. Construct an aquatic food chain using 3 organisms found on a reef. So algae. Then we could say actually, let me start with something that I'm kind of familiar with. Phytoplankton, small fish, maybe have crab, and then large fish. Or maybe let me just put shark. A herbivore from the food chain, small fish. Which trophic level of the food chain, first, second, or third, has the highest number of species? The producer always. So in my case, it's phytoplankton. Whichever plant you all had would have been the answer. Account for the differences in available energy at the different trophic levels. So at each trophic level, energy is used for bodily processes such as movement, respiration, excretion, also as you move down a food chain, energy is lost as heat. Only 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to the next. Fill in the blanks. If something obtains its food by living in or on another organism, so a parasite by living in or on another organism but does not normally kill the organism. In contrast, a something lives by capturing, killing a, so this one will be predator. Not all parasites kill the organism they're living in. We already did this one in class, so I'm skipping this one. And I think we did this already here. We did not do question 4, so let me finish this one. Genetic engineering is also referred to as genetic modification. What is meant by the term genetic engineering? So genetic engineering refers to the manipulation of genes from an organism and placing it into another organism. Explain how biotechnology involves recombinant DNA is used to assist persons with diabetes. Your answer should include the name of one product and an outline of how the product is made. So they make insulin using genetic engineering. So that's the product. How is it made? So first, a section of the insulin making gene is cut out from a healthy person, and then, right, so let me put that as first step. Next step, a section of the plasmid of a bacteria is also cut. The human insulin making gene is placed in the cut section of the plasmid. I will show you all a video of this. And then inserted into the bacteria. The bacteria is placed in agar petri dish and left to incubate, meaning to grow. Therefore, many copies of the human insulin gene is made. And that could be removed, and then that could be used, that could be placed in an injection form or a tablet form now. So you're using the bacteria to grow to keep multiplying, and when they multiply, they keep making many copies of this gene, so then it could now be mass produced. That's how they make it. So let me find a video showing that so it's clearer. All right, so the video is coming up. All right, so you only hearing this video? No, all right, so let me get a better one. I'm looking for a short one, so don't worry. All right, so this one looking good.
Production of insulin through genetic engineering. DNA molecule is a complex structure with histone proteins. The enzyme protease breaks up histone proteins into amino acids, thus separating them from the double-stranded DNA. The location of the gene on DNA that enables insulin production is determined. This area should be cut and separated from the DNA. One of the restriction enzymes unwinds the double-stranded DNA. The other one cuts out the gene that encodes for the production of insulin from DNA in a way to produce sticky ends. This piece is attached to the previously cut bacterium plasmid by an enzyme with the help of DNA ligase, and thus recombinant plasmid is produced. This recombinant plasmid that now carries the insulin is then transferred to Escherichia coli bacterium. The bacterium multiplies by binary fission repeatedly. All of the bacteria produced carry the gene that is responsible for the production of insulin. The recombinant plasmid, which has the gene that enables the production of insulin in the bacterium, is isolated and transferred to the cells in human pancreas, which cannot fulfill their duty of producing insulin. After this procedure, the cells with transferred genes start producing insulin again. Hence, diabetes patients are treated.
All right, so that explains how insulin is produced. Now, they actually insert the gene back into the person with diabetes, so that the pancreas will continue making insulin on its own. Back to the past paper now. Okay, so The general public is fearful of ingesting food produced as a result of genetic engineering. Give one advantage and one disadvantage associated with the use of genetic engineering for food production. So the advantage is food can be readily available. Disadvantage could be genetic diseases can be formed from consuming genetically modified foods. Any answers you all had here? You want me to check? The handout for this had a lot of other advantages and disadvantages. I wonder if we do this one. Yeah. No, we didn't do this. Okay, so complete the following sentence. Atherosclerosis is a condition which occurs when fat clogs the wall of the artery. Two effects that hypertension can have on his cardiovascular system. Okay, so blood vessel could burst. And this could lead to heart attack. Okay, since they say describe, let me just go a little further. All right, so blood vessels can burst due to the fast flow of blood under high pressure. And for this one, if a blood vessel in the heart ruptures, the heart muscle would not be able to contract and relax due to a lack of oxygen. Your heart muscles need oxygen as well. The cells of the muscles, right? So three changes that he could make to his lifestyle to control his hypertension. Reduce salt intake, exercise, reduce the amount of fat in his diet. All right, so that's it for that question. We did this in class. This was the endocrine system. I remember this one. Number 6, we did not do this one. All right. Part A. Name the vector that is responsible for the spread of dengue fever. Aedes, aegypti, mosquito. 2 signs or symptoms. Okay, so fever and sweating. We did this already? All right. Well, then we don't have to do this again. Now we move on and save time. All right. Next year was 2013. So therefore, our booklet is basically filled. All right, Jan 2013. State one hormone produced. I think we do this one already too. Just correct me if I'm wrong. We did this one for sure. I remember this. All right. We did number 2 as well. If I skip something and we didn't do it, just stop me. So I'll go back. I just want to make sure and run through the book and make sure we have answers for everything. We did question 3. We did question 4. I can't remember this one. Waiting for your response. Okay, let's do this one then. The sense organs in our body allow us to detect stimuli. Name 2 sense organs and the stimuli they detect. So we also did the skin. Skin detects temperature. There's just one. We did the eye. The eye detects light. Right. Annotate figure 6 to show the activities that occur when the eye is focusing on a near object. All right, so I'll annotate this structure here. However, for this one, ciliary, so I just put in the opposite here. Changing this to the opposite. So when you point circular, all you are going to say is circular muscle contract. And then you put in suspensory ligament, slacken. And then lens become fat. Fat or thick. The name of the process is accommodation. When Uncle Khan was a child, he developed an irregularly curved cornea. Now his doctor tells him that he's suffering from a cataract and not glaucoma. Name the eye defect that is caused by an irregularly curved cornea. That's astigmatism. What causes glaucoma? Okay. Glaucoma is caused by an increase in the pressure due to the aqueous humor that is built up in front of the lens. The aqueous humor is not being drained properly. Make sure and take it off if you don't have it. What effect does glaucoma have on eye vision? What you all have for that? So basically, blurry vision explain to Uncle Khan what is cataract and how it can be treated. Cataract is a white cloudy fluid which covers the pupil. This prevents light from entering the eye. As such, a poor image is formed on the retina. Treatment include surgery and corrective lens. We going good so far with these questions? All right, so next question. We did this in class. I remember this. This was in the genetics worksheet as well. And there was an error here with the Y, the H being on the Y. But the result will be the same. I don't think we did question 6. Check back and tell me. All right, so let's correct this one. Now, after we finish this paper, I want you all to flip through your book. And if there's any blank questions, write down the year and the question. Define the term pollutant. All right, part A. Pollutant is a chemical, well, I should say a substance that contaminate and harm the environment together with organisms. You could have it written differently as well. 2 sources of chemical pollutants: industries and vehicles, or you could say hospitals. Next one, B. Distinguish between term disinfectant and antiseptic. So disinfectant is used on non-living tissue. This is used on surfaces such as floor, countertop, etc. Antiseptic, that's like Savlon, is used on living tissue such as skin. C. Following severe flooding, residents had to use water from an overflowing reservoir located near the village. Although they treated the water with the recommended amount of chlorine, bleach, many of them still became very ill. Based on your knowledge of water purification and pollutants, explain what the residents were trying to achieve by treating the water with bleach and why this treatment was not enough to ensure that the water was safe for human consumption. All right. So firstly, this question has two parts. You have to talk about what step in the water purification they were trying to achieve by using bleach. That would be the chlorination and disinfection step in the water purification. And why was that not enough to ensure that water is safe for human consumption? This chemical, all right, so we had to say the chemical will kill microorganisms in the water. Now, over time, microorganisms can survive the chemical since they can become resistant due to mutation. Therefore, it is important to use high heat to kill the enzymes in the microorganisms body so that they will not be able to survive and mutate. Therefore, boiling helps to purify the water. Question, all right, part D, last one. Discuss how landfills in the Caribbean are not as effective today for disposing of refuse as they were many years ago. Well, they're not maintained, that is one. They need to have checkups. They need to have people making sure that they're sorting out the garbage, not just dumping it. So it is not being properly managed. For instance, the sorting process is not being implemented due to not having enough manpower to foresee the operation. Normally it's just the garbage truck, person who's pick up the garbage, person who's drive the truck, and then they just dump it. You don't have anybody at the landfill site. You know anybody working there? So not being managed, sorting process not being implemented. This causes solid waste to accumulate and cause unpleasant smell which deter people from willing to work in that environment. So a lot of factors involved in why the landfills are not as effective today. Alright? If it had enough people willing to work in that kind of field, the conditions was better, the pay, the salary was better, they have enough person, like somebody checking the trucks, maintaining the trucks, then it would have been in a better state as it is today. Right? Any questions with this? That's the end of Jan 2013. June 2013 now. So we're running through this paper. We did this. I remember this question with AIDS. We did question 2. Question 3, I don't think we did this one. With enzyme, no. Alright. Give the name of 2 enzymes associated with digestion in humans. So you could have amylase. Function, convert starch into maltose. Another one, you could say pepsin. We didn't do this one, right? Pepsin convert protein into polypeptide. All right. Just making sure. Next one. Now you can have other answers here. You can have lipase. You can have trypsin. Just remember what they break down. The breakdown of food takes place in the mouth, stomach, and small intestine. Name the type of digestion. For teeth, so that's mechanical or physical. Digestion. Humans have 4 types of teeth. Which tooth is mainly responsible for digestion? Name in part 1. The one that is crush and chew, so that is molar. Or you can have premolar. Well, molar is better. That's at the back. Both temperature and pH affect the manner, right? So each enzyme have an optimum temperature of about 37 degrees Celsius, where they work best at. Higher than that, they will become destroyed. The only enzyme that is work good in a low pH or acidic condition would be the pepsin because the stomach is acidic. Most of them are alkaline. At approximately which temperature and pH does amylase function the best? So according to this is about 37 degrees. And then for the pH, this value here is about 7.5. You're looking at the highest point in the graph. That's the most or the highest rate of reaction here. What effect temperature gradient? Okay, so this will destroy the enzyme and the rate of reaction will stop. Consumption of excessive amounts of carbohydrates and fats may contribute to the development of diabetes. Explain the role of the pancreas in the development of this disease. Alright, so pancreas contain cells which produce insulin. Insulin regulates the blood glucose level. If the blood glucose level is high, insulin is released and converts the glucose into glycogen to be stored in the liver. Right, so explain the role of pancreas in development of the disease now. So that's one part of the question covered. To talk about the disease, a person with diabetes mellitus means that insulin is not being produced, therefore their blood glucose level is high. Two methods other than the use of medication which could be used to manage diabetes: reduce sugar intake, exercise. Number 4, we didn't do this one either. I don't think so. Which type of cell division results in identical offspring? Mitosis. Say the number of chromosomes that will be found in daughter cell. 46 chromosome. We did this, all right. Sorry, skipping it then. We did this part with the menstrual cycle. All right, so let's do this one. Figure 4 shows the menstrual cycle of a human female, highlighting changes which occur in hormonal levels, uterus and the ovary. Describe the changes occurring in menstrual cycle from day 0. So day 0 to day 5. All right. So this graph showing 1, 2, 3 different things. Hormonal levels, the uterus, lining, and the ovary. So what is occurring in these 3 things during this time? So let's start with the ovary. 0 to 5. So unfertilized egg degenerate in the that's one thing. We have corpus luteum degenerates. Now we have a new egg also maturing at that point too. A new primary follicle is maturing in the ovary. The wall of the uterus, so the uterus lining breaks down and hormone levels remain low. Notice the levels of the estrogen and progesterone is low at that point. And then it starts to climb slowly. Day 6 and day 14 now. So 6 to 14. Look at what's happening. Egg becomes matured and is released into the fallopian tube. That is one part. Next thing now. So you see on the wall starting to climb back, right? Uterus lining repairs itself and estrogen slowly starts to increase. See how the lines are to move up here? Alright. Describe the changes that take place with progesterone level after ovulation, if pregnancy occurs, and if pregnancy does not occur. So after ovulation, if pregnancy occurs, okay, so let's look at the graph. From day 14, it starts to increase, right? This is day 14, this is progesterone, it starts to increase. So the level of progesterone increases right? If pregnancy occurs now look at the line. If pregnancy don't occur, progesterone will drop because you don't need the wall to be maintained. See how it's at a breakdown? Now, if pregnancy occur now, progesterone level will remain high like this. So the wall will not break down. The level of progesterone remains high. If pregnancy does not occur, the level of everything was in the graph. will decrease. Outline how FSH controls the production of estrogen. FSH is in the pituitary gland, which is the master gland in the body, controls other glands. All right, so basically, FSH is secreted by the master gland called the pituitary gland, right? FSH causes the primary follicle to develop, after which it produces estrogen when the egg is ready. Because when the egg is ready, estrogen is now needed to build back the wall. Because you have an egg that can become fertilized. So you need the wall intact again. So in case pregnancy occurs, the embryo could come and attach to the wall. All right. Question 5. Did we complete question 5 in class? Well, this is simple. Vector for lepto will be rats, vector for gastro is housefly. And then you have to just talk about the two diseases. So you could use the notes and talk about the signs and symptoms, how to prevent it, right? So I don't have to go through this one. All right, so I don't think we did this. Same thing for polluter, they contaminate a substance which can contaminate the environment, which cause harm on the organisms. Example of a pollutant that cannot be seen or touched, that would be carbon dioxide, any gas. Outline one way in which water can be purified on a small scale, boiling it, adding bleach or chlorine. Part 3, explain how water can become polluted after a hurricane. All right, so let me write this one. During a hurricane, there is extreme rainfall, which can lead to water accumulating in waterlogged soils, which causes flooding. Flood water rises with contaminated water from drains and sewer pipes. This type of water is brown and contains feces, urine, organic waste, and solid waste, together with pests, like rodents and stuff that is being drains, pests and pathogens. After drinking water at school, some students become ill. Describe a test for determining if your school water supply is contaminated with bacteria. So that's the same thing here. We did a couple of questions like this, straight from the notes. So that's the end of this question, this paper. So now I want you to flip through your book, use the chat and tell me which ones you all don't have answers for. Very quickly. May, June 2014, question 4. All right. Right, so May, June 2014, question 4. Let me remind you all, today is the last class. Now we have extra classes in May, so you all could contact Lyndon. It's the same thing with online classes, we're just doing past papers again. What I plan to do is the older set of past papers, since we would have already tackled all from 2012 to 2019. So it would have been like 2005, all those older ones, and multiple choice as well. Okay. Right, so here are the answers. I think we did this already though, because I actually have the answers stored here. This was the question you wanted, right? This question is similar to the previous one. Alright, so here are the answers. What other question? We have a few minutes remaining. So every question in that booklet is completed. If yes, please use the chat. If no, please state which one is not completed. Now, obviously, for those who miss certain classes, you would miss some answers. So you have to go back to the videos on YouTube. You can also use the day class because some of them would have been completed there if you miss anything. So basically, you all have 2 more months. They said that they will post the new, well, the updated timetable. We already sent the draft timetable to you all, but it's almost the same. I don't think they'll make any drastic change. Just stay tuned. Make sure you find out what days, what center you're writing your exams in, and you have enough time to reach to the area where you're going to do your exam. Please use a computer that's working good, that have good internet connection, that the keyboard, all the letters working. Because you don't want to end up with a keyboard that some letter ain't working, and you know, maybe if it's possible, walk with your laptop on the day, right? If they said no, you can't use your laptop, well, they must have a room or area where they will have the bags and January 2016 question 5. Jan 2016 question 5. Right, let me see. But I think we did this. We did this already. You could have cough syrup. Prescription. Look, I actually have it. Cocaine and I actually have the answers saved, so that means we did this question already. You sure it's this one? All right, so any other questions before we summarize this class? Right, so as I was saying, now the multiple choice, work with a calculator. You need the calculator in case they ask for the BMI, body mass index. That's weight over height squared. Don't forget how to input squared. There's a little 2x with a superscript 2. Make sure and use that. Read your questions twice. Look at the options. Eliminate the 2 that is not pertaining to the question. Then battle out the 2. Read back the question again and ensure that you have it. Like I say, if the internet stops or whatever happens, you could still submit it in a paper. The examiner will upload it to the CSEC website. So no need to worry about those things. And seeing that, all the stress that are happening in the world, the exam it shouldn't be too hard. Once you know you have all the answers for these past papers, you did all the multiple choice, you know how to form your sentences. That's very important. How to form a sentence, how to have all the points flowing, how to achieve full marks for the question. That is what you have to work on, right? So you all saw how I answer the questions, how I form my sentence, all the points that I use those as a guide. So any questions before I leave? The group will still be there, so in your revision during those 2 months, you all could ask questions on the group. Gemina, Sita, Chanel, you all good? All right. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. And don't forget, like I said, you all feel free to message on the group if you all having any problems with any topic. And if you need the extra classes, it's not needed. I don't think you need it. But if you want to continue with the past papers, don't forget classes on Friday. All right, so have a good night.